the office, getting ready for Vivica Live. Here we go.
You're live.
I know. No, I'm taking a video. I'm taking a video of us getting started. This is like the making of a movie. All right.
Exactly. And I just realized I forgot to give Andrea the link to the live. So there we go.
Okay.
Well, welcome everyone, except for Andrea, to our Vengresso Live. I'm so excited today because I have my very handsome, is it this way? My very handsome co-founder, Kurt Shaver. There is actually an ongoing bet within Vengresso. Who has the best hair? Who has the best smile? And yes, you would expect it's me, but no, it's actually Kurt Shaver. Welcome to the show.
Wow, what an intro, Vivica. Thank you very much. I don't know, there's a lot of good hair in Vengresso.
There is. I mean, Bernie's got some really good hair too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mario used to have some really good hair, but you know, being the CEO.
It's like the 4 years of the presidency.
Exactly. All right. So I am excited to have you here. You are our Chief Sales Officer. Before Vengresso, you had your own very successful training, LinkedIn, social selling, sales training. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, and then we'll just jump into the question of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you got really, I think, the 2 out of the 3 phases of my career. 3.5 here as your partner at Vengresso. Before that, 17 to 11, 6 years, in the social selling, sales training space with my own business. And then there was about 2 decades where I was just in corporate sales. About half of that time was an individual contributor, and the other half of that time was some kind of a sales leader, finishing up as a VP of sales. So I always say corporate pedigree, but with the entrepreneurial spirit.
I love it, which is perfect for what we do at Vengresso. So I want to launch today. Oh, good. We've got some comments already. Let's say hi. Good morning, Alfred. Good morning, Mihail. Nice to have you from Romania. That is awesome. Jack, welcome to the call. And also our friend and associate, Deborah Eckerling, who's got a really great book. And I'll just do a little pitch here for Deborah. It's your goal guide. So if you're kind of in a space right now where you're not quite sure what comes next, I highly recommend you reach out to Deborah. Deborah, go ahead and say hi to everyone in all the socials, and feel free to pop your book in there. Okay, let's get to today's big question. And actually, it was a coincidence, but we got a great question in on our Vengresso Live. So folks, if you ever have any questions and we're not actually live, you can go to vengressolive.com. But this question came in a couple days ago. What type of sales training do you offer to help field sales reps who are new to LinkedIn for selling? So that's an awesome opportunity for us to pitch ourselves. But let's turn it into the title of the show, which is what sales leaders really need to know about virtual selling and some best practices. And I noticed my computer's super slow, as is my internet. So I'm going to let you take it away, Kurt. And I will pull up the screen as well.
Sure. Okay.
Maybe. Well, that didn't work.
Oh, okay. Well,
keep going.
We'll look at you. Yeah, you're everywhere.
I know.
It looks like I'm on a little TV now.
It's still the wrong person. I think I have to hide myself.
All right. Well, I'm just going to jump in there. You can play with the dials there a little bit. Talking about virtual selling is obviously it's a hot topic now, right? As the world has been forced to go virtual because of the quarantines and social distancing. So when we're looking at virtual selling, you just have to overlay the traditional sales process from starting that first appointment, going through qualification, presentation, differentiation, negotiation, closing, right? Where can you get virtual at those different stages? We're going to be talking a lot about really the beginning of the sales cycle and what you can do from a virtual prospecting and lead generation standpoint on this LinkedIn Live. And the reason for that is that most sales professionals agree that's the hardest part of the sales cycle. It's probably been the hardest part of the sales cycle for the last decade, and certainly more so the last 6 months. So when we look at some of these virtual prospecting techniques, we are going to focus, Vengresso focuses, and on this talk, we're going to talk a lot about LinkedIn. We can also talk a little bit about how salespeople are using individual video messaging to break through the noise. But we're going to start just talking about LinkedIn. It's so powerful. Been around 17 years. It's funny, hard to call it a new technique. It's been around 17 years. Huh, Viv? When did you start training on LinkedIn?
2006, so 14 years ago, and it's been around for 17. Yeah, I felt like I was kind of late getting into the game back then.
Can you believe it? Can you believe LinkedIn has been around this long? So since the title of this is really, how can sales leaders, how can you implement a digital virtual selling, then we're going to share with you guys our Vengresso's 6 phases to modern selling, to digital selling that you see there on the screen. Thanks, Viv. And so from a sales leadership standpoint, I'm going to share with you guys 3 specific things that you can do to kind of get a handle on where is your sales team now. And even if you're a individual contributor, a business owner, a consultant that's listening to this now, you're not necessarily even managing a sales team, the things I'm going to share with you here, you can just apply to yourself from your own perspective, and you can ask yourself the questions. In other words, you can be your own sales manager here and apply these lessons to you. So again, as you see here, there's really 4 skills to leveraging LinkedIn and virtual selling. Those are skills 2, 3, 4, and 5. Branding is the LinkedIn profile. Find and engage is searching for those ideal customers. Connecting is growing your network. And then feeding has to do with content and sharing information to stay visible and credible. Steps 1 and 6 are really just the bookends. They are not particular to LinkedIn or virtual selling, but they are particular to changing people's habits. And so those that's the only way you get new results, is to change people's habits. And so as a training company, we again bookend the core lessons with the mindset shift up front and the cadence to establish habits on the back end. Okay, with that set up, then let me give them 3 tips, Viv.
All right.
The first one is I want to talk about brand. So if you're a sales leader, the easiest thing we can say is go in and look at the LinkedIn profiles of your sales team. If you're a sales manager, look at your sales reps. If you're a sales director, look at your sales manager. If you're a sales VP, look at your sales director, CRO, VPs. So look at your next level of supervision and just go, you're not going to have to spend more than 3 minutes on any particular one. And
someone who's on the call, if you want to be brave and put your URL, we can actually showcase this if we get people responding quickly enough. But oh, my cursor's gone now. That's awesome. So you can pop your URL into chat, and we can showcase
we can do a quick review, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Great advice. But again, if you spend 3 minutes on each person, let's say you manage 15 people, you're done in an hour. So the idea here is, right, are they representing the brand that you want them to do? It could be as simple as, Adam is our volunteer.
Yeah.
Okay,
so let me
keep talking.
I'm going to pull him up.
We should tell everyone. Okay, this is a very high bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Is a very sophisticated social selling user, but that's okay. He's gonna be doing so many things right. We'll use it. And so this is what you would really be looking for in your own salespeople, right? Some of the specific things that you can look for. I think he's
E.
Yeah, ER. Yeah.
Yeah, there we are.
There he is. There's that guy. Great. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
So as this profile comes up, and again, this is a high bar. This is where you want to get for sure with your people. The first thing you're going to notice is that he graduated from Purdue University, which is like the world's most incredible engineering university. Boiler up. Okay. But, obviously, right off the bat, he's got a very eye-catching banner there. He's talking, about his business. If you're in the protein purification business and protein characterization, you're seeing right in his banner image that those are some of the things that he deals with. Nice professional headshot. You'll notice he doesn't just say his particular role, that he's a chromatography specialist. He doesn't just put his role there, but he's really taking advantage in the headline section to capture all that real estate in there as he talks about protein purification, characteristics, specialization for octa, chromatography, and BioCur SPR systems. Now, I don't really know what all that means, but if I was Adam's prospect, I would know what that means, and that's the point. He's writing it for his prospect's eye. It's not a resume. This is meant to be a resource for his customer. If we scroll down, Viv, we can show some of the other features that, again, Adam, with a pretty sophisticated approach, is taking advantage of a fairly new feature upgrade on LinkedIn called the featured media, where, again, obviously you can see here it's much more than a text-driven resume. He's featuring different content. But actually, scroll over a little bit. Talk about a play within a play. Scroll over to his third
good point.
Section there, and you'll see that he was featured a few weeks ago on this very same LinkedIn Live episode. So a great way to build the brand, obviously, that he's got that media right on his profile. And then if you just want to go down to any of the to maybe his about section, you'll see that he's really taking advantage of Flushed Out. So again, Adam's a very sophisticated social seller in and of himself. You guys can look at things like we have resources on the LinkedIn page, like the ultimate guide for LinkedIn profiles for salespeople. That is a great resource. And of course, we also provide that as a service for individuals or for large teams into the thousands, where our professional profile writers will do it. So thank you, Adam. That was a little bit of a detail around the first thing you can do is you can look at your salespeople's brand. Okay. Second thing you can do is we're going to talk about their connections. And from a salesperson standpoint, if you're a sales leader, first off, you should be connected to everybody in your downline, right? Whoever your direct people you're supervising on, absolutely, you want to be connected to them on LinkedIn. And when you do that, unless they've turned off the default feature, which most people don't even know about, so chances are they haven't. Once you're connected to them, you can go in and look at their connections. You can essentially flip through their LinkedIn Rolodex. If you want to know how and you ping me later on, happy to show you. But just know that when you're connected to your salespeople, let's say, you should be able to go in and be able to look actually at their connections. And so what I recommend to do, and what we do with our salespeople, and we recommend our clients to do, is it's really a very fundamental thing. Go in and see how many of your ideal customer profiles, the people they're supposed to be calling on, how many of them are they connected to on LinkedIn? For example, let's say your business let's say that sales reps happens to sell process automation equipment to facilities and plant managers in northern New Jersey for the New Jersey. Again, so I'm just giving you a very specific ideal customer profile: facilities and process engineers, pharmaceutical, northern New Jersey. Maybe that's the ideal profile. So you can go in and filter their network by that criteria. Again, if it comes back and says they've got 2, you might be a little concerned. If it comes back and says they've got 93, that's probably pretty good. And you can also use that, obviously, a benchmark. If they do have 2, but the goal is to get to 50 by the end of the quarter, now you've got something hard you can actually measure. So why is it important to have a large network of ideal prospects? Obviously, that's going to help drive the pipeline. It can also help drive introductions and referrals.
I was a little behind you on showing how people can do that, but hopefully they were able to watch and listen. There's a good question that came up. So it's back to profiles, but so I don't want to take us too off track, but a great question that came up is, if all sales reps follow a template, won't they look like everyone else? Shouldn't they differentiated? Shouldn't they be differentiated?
Oh, that's a great question. So we get that all the time, right? Because everybody thinks like, oh, shouldn't we all be individual and showcase our unique abilities and all those types of things? So the answer to that is yes, sort of. The answer is yes, sort of. So our focus is really helping sales teams. And for that reason, if you think of the way that companies do a lot of things with sales teams, whether it's their telephone scripts, whether it's their PowerPoint decks, whether it's their proposals and contracts, typically those are all done to a particular standard. The company wants a certain brand projected. The company wants a certain message projected, certain positioning projected. So in that instance, we think the profile is just one of the other ones. Now, obviously, the individual, yes, they own their own LinkedIn profile, but I can tell you reps are happy if a company comes to them, hands them a template on a silver platter. It's got the right banner images and the right headlines and the 2,000 character descriptions written for them. It gives them all the media links and all those types of things, just hands it on a silver platter. And what the rep can do then is just copy and paste the right information, overwrite maybe 10, 15% of it with their custom information, how long have they been in the industry, their philosophies, some of their backgrounds. And when you put those two together, you end up with a fantastic looking profile. It benefits the rep, it benefits the company, it benefits the rep in their role that they're selling for the company. And so one of the ways I sometimes will mention this to people in terms of the idea of differentiate is look, if you have 500 sales reps and they all do the same thing for the same company, like they're all mid-market sales reps in your cloud security division.
And let me interrupt for just a second. If you want to see how you look, then just go to your company page on LinkedIn, view all the employees, and start popping into your profiles and see how your sellers are looking. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, I was just going to say, back to the template idea. If you have 500 sellers and they're all mid-market cloud security reps, then in general, they should look similar. They should look similar because they're doing a similar job. They shouldn't look the same because they're people, but they should look similar. And they should all look like they are working for your company selling cloud security into the mid-market. That's my point.
Right.
So a template really helps with that. The goal is not to differentiate them from each other, but the goal is to differentiate them from the competition, because any one prospect is not looking at the 500 reps. They're looking at they're looking at your rep and the one from Symantec and the one from Trend Micro and the one from Akamai. So if those people are not optimized and your rep is, then in fact, via the template, yours is actually the one that differentiates themselves. Ironic, isn't it? Okay.
Exactly. And Adam makes a really good point, and he's covering your head. But Adam says a house can have a similar structure and floor plan, but it's all about how you accessorize with material, paint, landscaping, furniture, and appliances. So yeah,
that's man. Like, we should steal that.
I know. We should just steal Adam.
I'm sure they had to sign a waiver to get into this, didn't they? That they're going to surrender all IP. Thank you, Adam.
Exactly.
Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about, again, this is just what sales leaders can inspect, but I hope if there are individual contributors here, they're just taking it and they're looking at the other side of the coin, right? They're thinking about upgrading their profile. They're thinking about growing their network. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about that can be inspected publicly is, are they regularly feeding their network, their connections? Are they regularly feeding relevant content in order to stay visible and credible?
And, Jack better be, because I'm using him as an example. Yes, Jack is.
Yeah. Vivica's showing you right here. That was pressure on Jack. So Vivica is showing you, again, you can go to anybody's profile on LinkedIn. You do not have to be connected to them. Level 1, this is public information. It's on the internet.
Actually, Jack might have the best smile and hair, just saying. Okay, keep going.
All right. So you've just, so as Vivica is showing here, you can just go to any of your sales reps profiles. You can go into the activity section. And when you click on it, there's really 3 or 4 things you want to look at. So the first thing you want to look at is, what's the frequency? what is the frequency of what they're, you can look at all their activities, which would include likes and comments, but let's zero in on posts, because posts are actually a higher degree of their activity and engagement.
There we go.
Subset.
4
right?
minutes ago. Good job, Jack.
So as Vivek is showing right there, you can scroll through these, and you can, first off, you can look at is their frequency. That's the first thing you want to look at here. Average B2B seller, they should do it at least a couple times a week, Once a day would be great. So frequency, number one. Number two, you want to look at what is the mix of company content and industry content that they are sharing. You do not want your salespeople to purely be a company shill that is only posting the company blog. They need to their customer, to their network, they need to represent themselves as a little broader and knowledgeable in the industry. So they need to find industry news from their favorite trade show, online magazine, people like Gartner and Forrester, whatever in your industry is a good source of information, they need to share that. So number two thing you want to look at is what's the mix between company and industry content.
And you can see with Jack, it's about 2 company things for 5 or 6 or 7 non-company related pieces of content. So well done.
Okay, well, now this is the highest level of test. So now we'll really test Jack. So the third level of test here in your feeding inspection is what kind of engagement are they getting? If your sales reps have the right network and they have a high number of their ideal customer profiles in their network and they are posting information that is relevant to that network, they should have people liking and commenting on it. So if they're just posting, 8 things a day and no one is liking or commenting on it, it is like a tree falling in the forest with no one around. Is it heard? Who knows? So, so again, the drill down would be to take any particular piece of content and see, are people liking it? Are they commenting on it? And then if they are commenting, is your sales rep going back and engaging those engagers in order to ultimately build a relationship, get a first appointment, walk them through the sales cycle, close a big deal, cash the commission check, buy a yacht, and leave the company? That's sort of the whole phase of leveraging digital selling. Okay,
Good
I better
question. What's the ratio of company to industry posts that we should have? What would you say, Kurt?
I like to go 50-50. You're doing a lot of the feed training. What are we saying in the class?
In the class we're 80-20 ish. But I think even 50-50 is good. You basically just want to show that you're not, like you said, a company automaton, that you actually can think for yourself and share content for yourself.
Exactly. Now, the last thing, I'm going to throw one back to you, Viveka, because you're one of our master trainers. The other thing that I think is so important when you're trying to change behaviors in a sales team, it's really the motivation, the recognition, the carrot kind of a piece. Maybe you can talk a little bit just about gamification, the award ceremony, and those types of things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The fact is, with salespeople, they're super busy. They have, they've got so much on their plate that if you go, hey, try out this social selling program, it's awesome, and you'll get more people in your pipeline and you'll close more deals. They'll like, yeah, sure. And every other training you've ever given us, you've said the same thing. So you've got to speak to their competitive nature. And so that's where gamification comes in. And gamification, you can either reward them, right? So it's, you get a free Apple iPad, you get, a recommendation from the CEO or the president of the company, you get in President's Club, whatever you want to gamify with. But the other thing is, on the other side of it, the laggers, you might want to apply the stick. And I mean, one of the big things that differentiates our program when we work with teams is that we've got reporting and we are on calls every week with the sales leader. And we're like, this guy is rocking it. This gal is rocking it. This dude hasn't even started the program yet. You need to reach out to him and let him know that he needs to get on it. And it won't always work when it comes from us, but it absolutely works when we get the sales leaders and the, really the stakeholders in this program in the company involved in the gamification, the carrot and the stick. And then of course,
Right.
the other thing that we do is we love having award ceremonies, virtual award ceremonies. And I had that pulled up and now I can't find it. So we actually have virtual award ceremonies for our folks. And we've got, up to 20 different awards that we can reward people with. And of course, the competitive ones, they like that. They want to see their name up there.
Yeah, I mean, again, you've got it there, the carrot or the stick. In most cases, again, to get people to change into something new, you want to use both. People respond to different motivations, and it's nice to have both. And there's so many things that we can track, we can measure, we can gamify. It just really helps. Including all the success stories that we're always harvesting and capturing from the people and then broadcasting them back out. I think so many times the ideas that actually spring from one of the salespeople in the program is what's so exciting. They come up with something creative.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And, for the individual entrepreneur, this comes in the form of testimonials. Again, for our company, and when we're running people through our program, we really kind of hammer home on the success stories because people don't always realize, more views on their profile is actually a success because it's more opportunity to reach out and engage with a prospect. Obviously filling your pipeline, getting that phone call from someone you haven't been able to get in touch with, landing a meeting, closing a deal, all of those are huge success stories too. And when one person starts showing their successes, again, the competitive nature, other people, and it piles on. And all of a sudden we went from like trying to get 3 success stories out of a team of 100 to like, whoa, we got 60 success stories.
Yeah.
Which one's
what about me? What about me? What about me? Look at me.
Exactly.
Well, this has been great fun. I know we're kind of right at the end of our time, but you know what? We didn't even talk about video messaging. So you're going to have to have me back sometime.
We're going to have to come back
to talk about my favorite subject. That's actually my favorite subject. That's like the hot thing, video messaging. We'll have to come back, circle back and talk about that.
Yeah, we actually had Rob on from One Mob,
Oh, yeah.
Speak about it. And it's such a powerful tool. So we'll definitely have that as well.
Great.
Awesome. All right. Any last words for folks or any banners that I need to put up and let people know about stuff? Oh, there's a couple good ebooks out there. So here's one of them. And Andre, if you can get that into chat, so few folks can see it, but there's a sales leader's guide to prove ROI of your sales tools. This is really powerful. It's actually, we should do a whole session on that too.
Yeah.
If, and it's a story that Mario tells all the time when he was at Sprint, or he was at that company. And how they weren't even tracking what software people were using. And when they started, it was like they realized, everyone's using this tool. We should keep paying for it. No one's used this tool in 3 years and we've spent over 500,000. Like maybe we should get rid of it. So it's important to think about when you do have a sales team and how do you keep them involved and what tools are you using. So we'll do a whole other session on that too. Right. Of course, if you've got any questions, you can always go to vengresolive.com, ask your questions throughout the week, and then we will answer them at our live sessions. That's about all I have. Do you have anything left?
I'll just say if anybody has questions about any of these inspection techniques that we rattled through sort of quickly, how do you do it? They can certainly reach out to me. They can find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Kurt Shaver. Oh, our names are gone now. So let me put it in here for everybody.
We'll figure it out.
I think so. Yeah. There we go. Reach out to Kurt Shaver.
That's me. Thanks, Vivi.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll see you same place, same time. Bye-bye.